Hey, you beautiful twin flames, and welcome back to Tarot for You 444. It's been a little minute, and that is because, wow, oh wow, oh wow, the Divine Feminine has needed a little break to kind of reset and rewind and understand why, maybe not why, but what's going on with the Divine Masculine. And in trying to figure him out, she's come to know a lot about herself. And I'm not going to talk about the feminine too much because obviously, if you're listening today, you already know how you're feeling, and you already know what you've gone through. And many of you have been through so many dark nights of the soul, so many, levels of understanding. And it's a real I want to say I want you to pat yourself on the back for coming this far, because this journey is definitely like finding, another needle in a haystack, and then another needle in the haystack, and another needle in the haystack, and it's miracle after miracle, but also with regards to the shadow self. So you continue to unpack yourself as you find what you don't like about your masculine. So as he continues to mistreat you, as the men in your life continue to mistreat you, maybe they're soulmates, or maybe they're a false twin flame, or whoever it is, you start realizing the difference between people who really care about you and people who don't. And we have to come back and remember that the masculine's role in all of this is to treat you in a way where you awaken more fully, and where you can understand yourself more. So the masculine will abandon you. The masculine will say things to hurt you. The masculine will use you. The masculine will make you feel like you're sworn off of men for life. The masculine will do a lot of things to hurt you forever. And we have to come to an understanding that we are living in a time where the masculine is very wounded. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. I want to call this the wounded masculine. And I'm going to put it in my twin flame concept videos so that you can come back to it when you're feeling a little bit down, or a little bit like you're lacking understanding about what's really going on. So we have this precipice of right now, and whenever you're listening to this video, that means right now for you. So understand that time is an illusion, and I believe that all time is happening at the same time. So I don't believe that you have a past life in the past. I believe that that is happening now. So if you believe that you're having multiple lives, or have had multiple lives, or in a past life you were, whoever you were, I believe that they're all happening simultaneously now. And we're coming to this precipice of understanding who we really are intrinsically. And the way we come to this understanding, and I'll get to the wounded masculine in a moment, but the way we come to this understanding, Divine Feminine, is to experience the hurt and the pain and the loss of the masculine. We also need to understand that the masculine is a representation of the masculine within the world. So your divine masculine is a representation of what's going on in the world, just as the divine feminine is a representation of what's going on in the world with the feminine energy. So I'm not going to mix up gender here and say the masculine is a man or the feminine is a woman, because we know that, and you'll know who you identify with by how your behaviors are. You probably already know whether you're a divine masculine or divine feminine. But for most of you listening today, you will be a divine feminine. And we're coming to this precipice of understanding who we are because of the bad or ill treatment of not just the masculine energies, but also the feminine energies within the world. So maybe you've got a situation at work where you're being treated poorly by some staff members or colleagues, or maybe you've got a situation with your family where you've, already been treated poorly by family members or even by friends. Okay, this is a projection of what's going on in the world, where the hurt of the feminine is lashing out. In the case of the feminine, the hurt of the feminine is lashing out, maybe, treating people with disrespect, being cold, being heartless, because she feels like she's been treated that way. So she closes herself off. On the other hand, the masculine is being very non-committal, very wary, very sexual in some instances, and not really willing to commit on a soul level. So that's what we're seeing being projected through and into this matrix that we're living in right now in society. So if you're feeling very alone at the moment, I want you to understand that you are not alone. You are one of the many people who are called to this lifetime to help this, the people of this world ascend. So what's going on with the masculine? This is all supposed to be about the wounded masculine. I'm just giving you a little snapshot of what I believe is going on right now, so that you can understand why you might be feeling down, why you might have felt alone recently, why you might have felt like giving up or hibernating, we could say, and hiding a little bit away from the world. I know many of you have tried to have connections with other partners or other people to see if you can feel some kind of love or some kind of connection. And I know you keep coming back to the masculine. You keep coming back to the masculine and saying, even though I might be married to, I don't know, John Smith, or I might be dating, I don't know, what's a cool Brazilian name? I don't know, what about Pedro? Right? Whoever it is that you've been dating or talking to or wanting to be with, you understand that there's still this pull within inside of you that wants to go back to the masculine. And this pull is your soul being pulled to the other half of your soul. So the masculine is very wounded at the moment, the divine masculine, whoever that is for you. And you will have seen this in the tiny little, teeny tiny amounts of effort or no efforts for some of you that the masculine has been making or not making. Okay, there's only been absolutely tiny little breadcrumbs for the feminine, even though she's been working on herself, even though she's pulled herself away and is trying to work on her career or her lifestyle or her diet or whatever that may be. She's been getting breadcrumbs from the divine masculine. And for many of these masculines, they are very wounded, and this goes far beyond societal expectations that they need to have, the right job or the right money or the right clothes or the right, status. This goes well beyond that. This is an imprint within the soul of the masculine, where he feels like he doesn't know who to turn to. And in some instances, the divine masculine has lost their faith as well. So if they were religious, they might have, stopped praying as much. Or if they used to go to the gym regularly because they had this passion for, bodybuilding or something, they might have lost that. So what I want you to understand now is that the masculine is crying out inside, and feeling extremely alone. And this loneliness is caused by them pushing the divine feminine away for such a long time. So now what's happening is they're experiencing this because the divine feminine has kind of moved on. You know, she's getting on with her life. Even though she longs to be with the masculine, she doesn't long to be with the masculine if he's going to be treating her like crap. She doesn't long to be with the masculine if, you know, he has, I'm saying he, of course, take gender how it resonates, but it's just easier for me to say he. But, you know, if he's been treating her like crap, or if he hasn't been texting back, or if he can't make time for her, or if he won't leave his current karmic situation, or, you know, and he made promises that he would, right? The divine feminine isn't taking second best anymore. She knows what she's worth, and this precipice is making the divine masculine feel extremely lonely. So many of you have sent me messages explaining how you're feeling a little bit lost, or feeling lonely, or feeling down, and you don't know where this is coming from, or even feeling unwell. And this is, you know, it's a strange melancholy feeling, and it's coming from the masculine right now. This energy of loneliness is what the feminine went through, you know, for quite some years. Actually, for many of you, you've suffered it for quite some years, because your masculine might have made promises, you know, to whatever, X, Y, and Z. And it doesn't have to necessarily be romantic. It might have just been within the friendship, you know, like, yeah, sure, I'll text you every Monday, or yeah, we'll get together, or let's do that project together, or whatever it was. And it didn't come to fruition. So right now the masculine is in a state of, I want to call it stasis, where he is sitting and realizing that, you know, this life is, you know, one day going to come to an end, right? He's starting to realize that the feminine is not going to put up with the BS anymore. Like he kind of knew it before, and he kind of was happy to kind of go off and just do his own thing. But now he's realizing that in his heart, he realizes that he's treated the divine feminine very poorly. So as the feminine moves into her current life and tries to embrace that and be grateful for what she has, the masculine feels as though he's missing something. And we often talk about, you know, make sure you ignore the masculine, make sure you, you know, don't think of them, and, you know, all of that stuff to manifest them coming to you. And this has kind of happened for many of the feminine, where they've gone, yeah, I'm totally not thinking about him, you know, and then every 30 minutes you're checking your phone to see if there's a message. And we've come out of that, really out of that, into, well, he's really hasn't shown up for me, so I wish him well, and off you go with your life. And as you've turned around and really started focusing on your life, he's feeling that loneliness. He's feeling that pull. And for some of them, they don't know what it is that they're missing. They don't realize that it's you. You know, they haven't sat there and had this massive epiphany and gone, oh my God, it's, you know, it's Lucy that I'm missing. They just are feeling this emptiness in their soul, or in their heart and soul. And the feminine knows this feeling very well. The feminine has been through this feeling many times. You know, she's been through the runner-chaser dynamic many times already. And it hasn't necessarily meant that she's learned everything quite yet. But I really feel like there's this push from the feminine to keep moving away. And for some of you, you might be staying in relationships now and just being grateful for those current relationships that you have. And that doesn't have to be romantic relationships. That might just be your friendships with people. You're really happy that you've got a great friendship with that best friend, or you're really happy that you've got that, friend you've known online for 12 years and that you can just sort of vent to those different people. So where are we heading with the masculine? The masculine is falling and falling and falling and falling. And of course, because of the ego, there might be some things that have happened to your masculine that you can, I don't know, if you want to write them in the comments, feel free to do that. If you for privacy reasons, if you don't want to, that's totally fine. But you can contact me via my email if you want to talk to me regarding this. But a lot of them have had some kind of, loss, whether, they've had a job that they've lost, or a friend that they've lost, or, I feel like there's been many types of different losses that they may have had recently, and it's bringing them more into an attitude of being grateful. For some of them, they're not having the epiphany quite yet, but they're realizing that, they should be more grateful for what's in their life, who has shown up for them in their life. And they're on the way to realizing that, if they haven't already, that you were a light within their life and that they lost you because of their own actions. So this is a really interesting channeling today. Like I say, I'm going to put it in the twin flame concepts, because whenever you come across it, it's going to be valid for you, because obviously we've got different timelines. And if you're listening to my channel, all of my channelings and all of my readings will be applicable if you feel guided to click on them at any one time. It might be a message for you intuitively that you want to listen. So where do we go from here is the question. If your divine masculine has been wounded, right? He's not texting you, he's not calling you back, or if he is, he's giving you breadcrumbs, and you have fully moved on. Maybe you've had some, not big illnesses, but small little things that have happened. Maybe you've been getting the flu a lot, or maybe you've been feeling depressed a lot, or maybe you haven't been motivated. This is all coming from your masculine. It's all very energetic right now. So, a lot of people are saying that they're feeling lethargic, and they're feeling, like they just don't have the motivation to do what they used to do. So what do you do? What I want you to do is I want you to continue to focus on you. I want you to continue to come into that presence of feeling your own soul. And you know how when you enjoy your own soul, because you take your own soul everywhere, right? So you could be doing the gardening, or you could be sitting outside enjoying the sunshine, or you could be, helping the kids, or doing that chore that you need to do, or driving somewhere. I want you to feel into your own soul and that massive big connection that you have with source energy. And I want you to know that you are making a difference in this world, and your divine masculine is, of course, lagging behind right now in the matrix. So the divine masculine is stuck in the matrix. That might even be the title that I use for this video, the divine masculine stuck in the matrix. And you could argue that we're all stuck in the matrix, and which is true, but there is a way out of the matrix. and they're not quite sure what the way out is. So they're going to come to this point of recognition where they realize what they did to you. And for those of them who feel bad about it, they may reach out and apologize to you. And for those of them who feel ashamed, they may not say anything to you. So I want you to let it sit with your masculine, and I want you to let them make the decision. Okay, so it's completely up to them, because it can go one of two ways. They can stay in this dark night of the soul or in this depression, and they can, feel sorry for themselves and not want to take any action because they feel lethargic and because they feel like they don't know what to say to you. But when they get through this dark night of the soul, a lot of them are going to reach out and say, do you know, I was really nasty to you, or I treated you really badly, or I'm so sorry that I, did X, Y, and Z. Because for the divine feminine, a lot of you can't understand why, they have all this energy seemingly to give to their friends or to their family or to their, loved ones. They can show up for their mother, and they can, go and help their sister, and they can, go surfing with that friend or whatever it is. And it's really hard to understand why they haven't been able to make the effort for you. So this is a lesson that they're learning. Like, on one hand, the divine has made them be all kinds of horrible to the feminine in the past, so that the feminine came to know who she was. And within coming to know who she was, she became stronger, and she realized that she needed to go to God or whoever it is she believed in to gain that strength, and to not necessarily rely on anyone else in human form to help her as much as maybe God or whoever it is she believes in. So what I want to say to you now is that the divine masculine is at a really pivotal point now. In the coming few weeks to months, he will have this epiphany where he realizes what's really important to him. And he will either stay in this depression and not move. For many of you, you have got divine masculines who did not awaken and who will remain in a period of stasis. But for those of you who have divine masculines who decide to awaken, because it is a decision, you can remain asleep or decide to awaken. For those of the ones that will awaken, will come to you and apologize to you. And in that apology, they will say, I will not treat you like this again. And then you'll know whether or not this is the truth, because they'll either do that thing again, they'll either, ignore you again, or piss you off again, or do whatever that thing is again, and you'll know that they haven't been able to awaken fully. And then that would be the decision that you might want to leave the connection. Many of you have already left the connection. Many of you have had enough of the connection and realized that your divine masculine isn't going to awaken. And remember, for a lot of you, there is this period coming up until October where your divine masculine may become another person. And I know that sounds really far-fetched and hard to understand, but we're talking about energy. And energy is movable. Just as the soul leaves the body when we are not on this plane anymore, the divine has a way of moving energy around, so that if your divine masculine isn't showing up for you and not awakening right now because he's been too wounded, there is a possibility that the energy will go into another person. So a lot of you, have been wondering about this, and if you want a reading or a personal session with me, just contact me. My details are down below in the description box. I'd love to help you work out what's going on with your divine masculine. If you would like me to help you light the way. But this time is a really kind of serious time. It's a really reflective time. It's a time for the feminine to really understand that, you know, you know what your worth is, and I want you to stay knowing what your worth is. You know, unfortunately, the divine masculine collective on the earth right now is wounded, and you know what you're seeking within inside of your masculine isn't necessarily there right now, because they are hurting and they are lonely, and this is you know, a mirroring effect of what they did to you going on right now. So it's very interesting that the way they treated you is the way, you know, they're being made to feel this way right now. So it's a very interesting channeling. It's kind of serious. It's kind of hard, but I want you to focus on self-love. I want you to focus on connecting to Source Divine Feminine, and I want you to focus on being the best version of yourself that you can be despite the circumstances. So if you've lost your job, or if you've got an illness, or if you've been having a hard time with, you know, narcissistic colleagues or something like that, I want you to just do the best that you can do with what you've been given, okay? And the creator, whoever that is for you, whether that's God, Allah, Buddha, whoever that is for you, are watching you and realizing that you're doing, wow, throat chakra, that you're doing your very best. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll try and post a little bit more often. I'll try and at least post 3 times a week from now, and I'll check in fully with the divine masculine in a couple of days from now. So if you're listening, yeah, I'll try and do a video like every couple of days. Okay, that's what I'll endeavor to do that, so that you can you know, keep understanding what's going on, as you know, in real time. But if you've just clicked on this video and it's in the Twin Flame Concepts playlist, you've come to the right place. You know, time is an illusion. You know, whatever you're guided to click on my page, or on my channel, I should say, is what you're guided to click on. So that's, you know, everything happens for a reason. So thank you for being here, Divine Feminine. I really appreciate it. There are some masculines that listen to my channel as well. Most of those masculines are fully awakened, or at least semi-awakened, so they'll know what's going on as well. So I wish you a peaceful, beautiful, wonderful day, night, afternoon, evening, or morning, wherever you are in the world. And of course, we need to sing Joyful, Joyful before we go, or you know you're on the wrong channel, right? Okay, so stay in your heart space. If you need me, reach out to me. I'm doing counseling sessions for an hour and a half now, and I'm also doing readings that last for an hour and a half. So if you feel guided to me, I'm a psychic medium. I use the cards really for entertainment purposes only. So if you need my services in any way, shape or form, contact me and I will guide you in the right direction. Okay? So let's sing Joyful, Joyful and try and bring our vibration as high as we can for the day. Ready? Joyful, joyful, Lord, we adore you. God of glory, God of light. Hearts unfold like flowers before him. By the way, what have you done for him lately? Ooh, 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 yeah. What have you done for him lately? Ooh, 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 yeah. Come and join the chorus, the mighty, mighty chorus. La, 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 la. Joyful, joyful, Lord, we adore you. God of glory, God of light. Hearts unfold like flowers before him. Do, 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 do. Thank you for joining me, everyone. I love you so much. Don't forget, if you need me, I'm right here. I haven't gone anywhere. Sometimes I just get a little bit busy. So have a beautiful, beautiful day. And if you need me, reach out. And don't forget to comment or like or share or all of the things that help my channel grow. I want to get the message out to as many divine feminines and masculines as possible, because we need to kind of virtually slap the masculine, right? Yeah. Yeah, the divine masculine stuck in the matrix. Alrighty, that's what I'm going to call this. Have a beautiful, beautiful day, and I'll see you real soon. Bye, everyone. Bye.